Again, I am with Rural Development. We are a funding partner. We have several different funding programs that may be of assistance to you as you are using some of the programs and some of the aspects you learned about today. Just to start with our programs, Rural Development, of course, we're in place to help improve the economy and the quality of life through rural America. And we do have loan programs, financial programs to support public facilities. We do a lot with water and sewer systems across the state, have a lot of health clinics, hospitals, a lot of emergency facilities and so forth like that. The main programs that I want to talk about today that I think would be of most use, most benefit, and what our discussion is on is first our water and environmental program. We call it our WP program, and then our community facilities program. I just want to briefly run through those two programs and just kind of highlight those. Some of you may be familiar, some of you may not. Start off with, I'm going to mention the programs, the overall objectives of the programs, who an eligible applicant is, what the eligible purposes of our programs are, and then the type of financial assistance available and our current rates and terms. I want to start off talking about the water and environmental programs. As I mentioned before, that's primarily water systems and sewer systems across the state. As you can see by the slide there, the objective of this program is to provide loan and grant funds to help construct, enlarge, extend, or otherwise improve some sort of water or sewer system across the state. I can tell you that as rural development, you do notice it talks about rural users and rural residents. We work with the rural part of the state, the smaller cities, and we do have loans and assistance with most of the smaller cities and water districts across the state. An eligible applicant through this program, municipalities, essentially small cities, counties, special districts, and authorities. And as I said, we do have loans with most of the water districts and sewer districts across the state. We can also work with non-for-profit corporations. There's a few water associations throughout the state and some private nonprofit corporations that we can be involved with. Our program is set up, as I mentioned, we're dealing with rural areas. Our water and environmental program is set up that basically I can work with any system, any water or sewer system that is located outside of a city that has a population over 10,000. The law that was written to set up this program defined a rural area as 10,000 or less people in a city with less than 10,000. Of course, we can work with counties outside the city limits. I can work with a county and the population doesn't affect it. That 10,000 just pertains to an incorporated city. And has a slight caveat on that. I can actually even work with a city that's over 10,000, but the only way I can do that is if the city is providing service outside of the city. If the city is providing service out into the rural areas of the county, I can finance that portion of the project that is serving the area outside of the city. Again, it has to be a rural area, and any type of loan we do has to be to provide, capacity for the system to be able to provide the water and sewer service to the area. I can use lines for finance. I can use loans or grants for financing water lines, water tanks. We financed a lot of water treatment plants and sewer treatment plants across the state. And then if a system is designing a project, they will have to have engineering and legal work and so forth, and we can cover that part also. Our program is set up. I have direct loans that I can make at a really reasonable interest rate. We have grant programs that we can provide some grant assistance based upon the income of the area. We also have guaranteed loans, and then I could do a combination of a guaranteed and a direct. Our interest rates in this program, I'm proud of our interest rates. I do want to say that effective today, July 1st, our new interest rates have taken effect, and based upon the economic situation of the nation right now, our rates have dropped to an all-time low. Our rates do adjust quarterly. The rates that I'm going to tell you about here in a second, they are good for this quarter from July 1st until September 30th. With our water and environmental program, I do have a 3-tiered interest rate scenario, and that interest rate that a system would qualify for is based upon the MHI, the median household income of the area that is served. I can tell you that right now we're still basing everything upon the 2010 U.S. Census. The 2020 census is just now in process, so we're still using that 2010. Based upon that 2010 census, the average income for the whole state of Kentucky was $40,418. So the service area of your system, if the income is $40,418 or higher, then you would qualify for what we call the market rate. If it's between 80 to 100% of the state MHI, then you would qualify for the intermediate rate. And if it's below 80% of the MHI, you could qualify for a poverty interest rate if the project that we're financing will remove a health or a safety hazard. Now you say, what is the market and intermediate and poverty rate? I can tell you that effective today, our market rate is 1.875%, our intermediate's 1.5%, and the poverty rate's 1.125%. And again, those rates are effective for this last quarter of our fiscal year, which runs from from July 1st to September 30th, That is our water and waste program. I do want to also mention our community facility program, which is essentially, they work hand in hand, and it's essentially the same sort of program with just some different purposes. In our community facility program, again, it's the same type of eligible applicant, a rural community, city, public body, counties, special districts, and so forth. One big difference in the community facilities program and the water and waste program, since we are financing community facilities, which will include things like hospitals and libraries and so forth, those type of projects actually need a little bit larger service area in order to be feasible. So in this program, we can go up to 20,000 people in a city. Again, if we're outside of the city limits, the population's not an issue. But if we are making a loan to a city, the city has to be less than 20,000 people. The different types of projects that we can finance through our community facilities program, as I mentioned, we do a lot of activity with healthcare and so forth. We do a lot of public safety. We do a lot of police, fire departments, jail houses, libraries, and then we're involved with a lot of other community services, just like child care, adult daycare. We can do city halls, community centers, items like that. Also, things we can do through the community facilities program, a watershed, we would be able to work with something like that through this program. I can tell you in the past few years, we've had a couple of different cities that their water system, they have a dam that is controlling their water system, and due to different issues, their dam is leaking. They've had issues, and we've been able through this program to go in and actually provide them with financial assistance to repair a dam, strengthen a dam, and different items like that. So we could work potentially with some watershed issues through this program. Again, just as our water and sewer program, we do have direct loans, we have grants, guaranteed loans, and then a combination of both. I will say that our interest rates are also set quarterly in this program. We can go up to a 40-year loan. This interest rate is tied to a different structure, and so the interest rate for this program is just a little bit different. Our interest rate for this quarter in our community facilities program is 2.25%. That's still a very good interest rate. 2.25% for up to 40 years is hard to beat. I do want to mention I am located in the state office here in Lexington, but we do have offices throughout the state. If depending on where you may be in the state, if you have an interest in working with us, you can see from this map that we do have offices in Mayfield, Madisonville, Bowling Green, E-Town, Shelbyville, Moorhead, London. We're all across the state. And I will provide this PowerPoint presentation to Steve, and he can email it out. If you do have any interest, you can contact me or contact any of our offices, and we'll do anything we can to help you. Again, my name is Anthony Hollingsworth. There's my contact information.